brightest young stars in the Southern Hemisphere, 18-year-old Milly Clegg is a former A-League player with stints at the Wellington Phoenix and Western Sydney Wanderers. She's also a football fern, having scored her debut goal against Japan just 9 days ago. After impressing in Australia and New Zealand, her efforts earned her a contract with Racing Louisville in the NWSL. Welcome to the podcast, Milly.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, so just tell us where you are. It looks like you're maybe in your apartment, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I'm in my apartment in Louisville. In my room in my apartment.
And is it a single, or are you rooming with anyone?
Yeah, I'm rooming with another girl on the team, Alexa. She's the Colombian international. But the whole team stays in the same apartment complex, so I've got lots of girls around me.
Cool. Yeah. And what? So you're in Louisville. What's Louisville like? So Louisville's in Kentucky, and Kentucky's like, you think of it in the South, but it's really kind of in the North. It's like in the middle of the country there.
Yeah, I didn't really know a bunch about Kentucky and Louisville when I first kind of came over. But I would say I've been pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect, but I mean, I miss the bad weather at the start of the year, like it being very cold and snowing, which I'm not used to. So I missed that, which was kind of nice. And the weather's been good so far. The city's been great. Everyone is very friendly and welcoming here. There's like lots of festivals and activities here, but it's also quiet sometimes, so it's a nice balance. But yeah, like so far I've been very impressed.
So how did you go from A-League playing with the Western Sydney Wanderers to the NWSL?
Well, it all kind of started kind of during or after the World Cup last year. Racing Louisville put me on the discovery list, and I didn't really have an agent at the time, so I was at that time I was looking for an agent, so I got my agent, and then he kind of got into contact with them and discussions went from there. But at that point I'd already signed with Western Sydney, so the plan was to play a season there and then go over. But obviously I got injured in my first game, so I was out for the whole season. So I ended up coming over earlier than expected, but a bit later because I was still nursing my injury.
How's the injury now?
Yes, perfect. Finally better. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So a little bit about the discovery process. It's something unique to the NWSL. It's where each team sees, they see someone overseas and they kind of claim the rights to that person. And that's a pretty weird thing and unique to the NWSL of claiming rights to people. It's kind of part of our, I don't know, it kind of harps back to our draft process. And I don't know if we'll see discovery far into the future, but it has something that's been there. And so, wow. So Louisville saw something in you. That must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't really know anything about the discovery process when I first got told about that I was on it or anything. But yeah, very cool that they saw me and identified me and put me on that list, because that led me to be here today. So yeah.
So how does that really work? So an agent talks to the team, or is it like how did that kind of, just out of curiosity, do you know?
Yeah. Well, we got told that I was on the discovery list from, I believe, someone in the New Zealand PFA must have seen it. And then I didn't have an agent, so I had to get an agent. And then once I had my agent, then he started kind of the discussions with the club and what was the reasoning behind that and what they were interested in doing, kind of thing. And I guess the discussions went on from there.
Okay, interesting. So let's go back to football. How would you describe yourself as a footballer? What did they see in you?
I'm honestly not sure. where they saw me or like when they saw me, but I mean, at the end of the day, they saw me and put me on that list. But I would say me as a player, I'm very direct. I have an eye for goal. I always try and either have a shot or cross the ball. I would say, but I would say I am fast. I have gotten stronger, and I would just say an instinctive kind of player. But
I would agree.
I would say.
I would agree. You have your nose to the goal, and you want to score goals, and that's pretty cool. And is that the position you're generally playing in practice and that kind of thing at Louisville?
Yeah, I've been playing like usually as the 9, but sometimes on the wing as well.
Okay. And a lot of our audience follows the A-League. Can you tell us a little bit about the similarities and differences between the A-League and the NWSL?
I would say it's very different. I don't think I can't. I would say there's a lot more differences than similarities. But I would say one of the similarities in the A-League is like the facilities that we have now in the A-League is pretty impressive. Like, I don't know if you guys have been to the Wellington one, like it's pretty insane. Like they've got the whole NZTAS, and same with Western Sydney, and I think maybe Melbourne City or Melbourne Victory have the home of the Matildas now. So like, I don't know, all the resources they have now in the A-League is pretty impressive, pretty similar to the NWSL. Maybe some are even better, but in Louisville it's pretty good as well. But I would say the NWSL, it's a lot quicker pace. You have to be fitter, faster, stronger. Even like there's a real emphasis on technical ability as well, which I don't know, I didn't necessarily fully expect since it's got the reputation for being such a kind of physically demanding league. But I would say it's definitely very technical as well. I mean, it's got some of the best players in the world, so I guess that comes with it. But yeah, I would just say it's another level over here. But yeah, very cool to be a part of it.
So your coach is Bev Yanez, and she's kind of she's one of the new style coaches she was a player and now she's a coach. What's that like to play for her? I mean, it's her first year, right?
Yeah. I believe she was the assistant last year and now she's the head coach. She's been great. I've really enjoyed learning from her. Trainings are super intense and like almost like a game. So I don't know, I would say I've improved a lot in a very short time frame. So yeah, she's got a real emphasis on our game plan and she's very smart with how she coaches. So yeah, I've been nothing but impressed by her so far and I've really enjoyed playing for her so far.
You mentioned improving. What aspects of your game do you think you've been improving the most?
I would just say just like the quickness of my play, like you have to be so much faster in everything you do because I don't know, it's just a different intensity over here and we do a lot of training in small kind of areas. So like I would say that part of my game has definitely improved a lot. And I guess just playing against with like some of the best players in the world, I mean, you just improve that much faster. So yeah, I would say that's been a huge contributor.
Yeah. I mean, the NWSL is full on, in all sorts of ways, but it's interesting that you mentioned the technical ability and the quickness needed for it, because it has a transitional sort of feel to it. But, to do those things, you have to be quick, you have to be focused and intense. I mean, Bev had that famous huddle talk. I don't know if you know the one that kind of went on social media around the world.
Yeah, there's been a few of this.
She
Yeah.
said, we're stone cutters, and
Yeah.
and it's whether you are on the field or not, you're part of this group and special to this group's success. Did that ring true to you? And what does stone cutters mean?
We had like a pre-match talk that day, and that was before the Utah game, which we ended up doing really well, winning like 5-1, I believe. But yeah, towards the start of the season, we had a lot of draws and we couldn't quite get the results. So I guess the reference was we were like chipping away at a stone, and at some point it's going to crack. And I guess that day it did crack. And we finally got that big win and big breakthrough, which I think has propelled us in the season so far. So yeah, I think that was the reference. But yeah, I think she's very passionate, and yeah, I mean, you can see that in a post-match speech.
Yeah, that's great. How are you contributing to Louisville as a team? What kind of roles are you playing?
Wait, what do you mean? Individually?
Yeah, like individually, like how are you contributing? I mean, you're not getting as much playing time as obviously you'd hoped. But what are you giving to the team? What are you learning from the team?
I think I'm like providing energy. Like I fight every day because I would say for me, like trainings are just as important as a game at this point. So I work hard, and I think just for me, like getting to know everyone and getting to know how people play and just like improving is really important. Like we've got a very good team. So it has been harder to get minutes, but I know that by training hard, when I get my chance, like I'll be ready.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the thick of it right now, right? I mean, we always look at that playoff line, and you're at, right there, right on the edge of that playoff line. Um, you know, how does that feel to just be in the middle of a season in the NWSL?
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I don't think we've even reached like our potential yet. I think we could be like a top team in this league. We've definitely got the squad to do that and the staff and support to do that. Um, but I think from here on, we can only go up. Like we did start the season a bit like with a few draws, but I think now we've had 2 wins in a row and it's starting to actually like come together. So yeah, I'm excited for the next half of the season. I think it could be really exciting for us.
Are there any similarities or differences in sort of the preparations for game day that you see between the A-League and the NWSL?
Um, I would say it's pretty standard. I think everyone has different routines on their game day, so you can't really analyze it too much. I think one difference is we kind of all go into the facility before we eat our pre-match meal together, which didn't happen in the A-League unless you were on a away trip. But um, yeah, for the most part, like everyone is different in what they like to do on match day. But yeah, I would say that's the one difference I've noticed.
Do you have any unique things you do on match day?
Not really. I like to go on a walk, and then I listen to the same kind of music each game day. But other than that, it's pretty chill.
Nice. So you have another Kiwi on the squad. Are you like Kiwi 2 or Kiwi 1 or so fellow Kiwi Abby Ursig, is she mentoring you at all or just lifting you as a weight or
Um, yeah, she's been great. She was super amazing when I first got over there and like helped me settle in because obviously, I don't know, so close to home and she kind of knew, I don't know, it was like a connection. So it was nice that she made the effort to help me feel comfortable and settled in. And yeah, I think she's like just a amazing example of a true professional. And I think everyone kind of looks up to her in that aspect. Like she's always in the gym, she's doing everything she can for her body to ensure that she can perform at her best. And she's been doing it for so long, and that's a testament to all the preparation she does. Yeah, I think she's a huge role model for a lot of people and a great example of what a proper professional looks like.
Yeah, I mean, are you learning anything around sort of the mental aspects or the physical aspects from either her or people on the team?
Yeah, I would say I've learned a lot from her and everyone really. I think everyone really has their own kind of strengths and what they add to the team. So just like observing that and maybe seeing where I could add that to my game, I guess.
And one last question about the NWSL. So far, who do you think are some of the best players you've seen?
Hmm. Um, well, it was pretty cool watching Marta play. Yeah, I've been so impressed with like the Africans that have come into the league, like Barbara Banda and Chawinga. They're absolutely insane. Like they just like run past people. I'm like, wow. Um, but yeah, like there are even some insane people like Sav and Taylor I've been super impressed with. Like we've got a great team as well. But yeah, I would say those Africans are pretty insane.
Yeah, they've torn up the league this year. They're really, really fun to watch. I've always been a big African advocate coming into the league, and wow, did they come into the league and you know, the Zambians in particular are just tearing it up.
Mhm.
Alex, take it away. He's going to ask you a bit more about the Football Ferns.
Yeah, Football Ferns are up next. Kia ora, Milly. Great to have you on the podcast. So when we first spoke to you about 6 months before the World Cup, you hadn't yet been called up to the Football Ferns. Um, so you went from that to making the World Cup roster. You were unfortunately an unused player during the World Cup. I know we would have loved to see you make an appearance. Myself and others were begging you to please hit the big red button and sub on Milly Clegg, especially in kind of like the dying minutes of that last game against Switzerland where we needed a goal. So can you just reflect a bit on your World Cup experience?
Yeah, I was very excited to be there. It was amazing to have a home World Cup. I'd never experienced a World Cup, and it was like crazy that my first one was like at home. So I guess that was way more special. And it was cool to have my family and friends there. Um, but yeah, like in terms of like, it was like hard. Like we had been in that training camp for like 9 weeks, I believe, before, and then I had an injury towards the end, so it was quite mentally challenging. Um, and yeah, like it just felt like we'd been doing it for so long with the same people. But I mean, I think that like fueled a fire in my belly. Like after that World Cup, like I was willing to like work super hard, like that month in between the World Cup and the A-League season, like I was working every day, like I didn't really have a break. Um, and then I had my pre-season and I was like really excited. I thought I was going to have a good A-League season, but obviously that didn't happen. Um, but yeah, like I've just continued working and I feel like my time will come. So yeah, I'm very excited because I've put in a lot of work.
Yeah, and so you were also called up to the last Football Ferns camp, which was in Spain, a long, long way to go for a friendly against Japan, and you got your first goal. So can you kind of tell us a bit about that camp with the Ferns?
Yeah, it was different. Like we obviously had that spanner in the works with the coach not being there for the tour. So that was like interesting. I remember I found out when I landed. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, like I would say everyone adapted really well and we had our head down and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing all the girls again. I'd missed them a lot. So yeah, it was really cool experience and I was very excited when I got the start in the second game because I knew I was ready and I'd really been waiting for this chance and I tried to take it with two hands and yeah, I kind of did, but I think I've still got more to give.
Can I say something? Your goal, you looked quicker. Like you looked like an NWSL player. You brought that quickness that you learned to that. Like there's not a lot of people who say they scored against Japan in the NWSL. And I'm just as a American Kiwi, I just want to say I'm really like proud of you. That was an incredible goal.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great feeling. I feel like I'd been waiting a while for like a cool moment like that, especially with the injury. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so take us a bit through, that goal against Japan, like the emotions, where the ball goes, just because I've never scored a goal at professional level, so I think lots of people, want to know what it feels like and how it is.
Yeah. Well, I feel like leading up to it, as I said, like I'm quite an instinctive player, so I was just like doing what I thought was right at the time, and it just kind of happened naturally. But when I saw it go on the back of the net, I was like relieved. I was super excited. Yeah, I feel like I've been waiting for something like that for a long time now. I've had like a hard year, so yeah, I was so excited, and yeah, I think you could see that on my face when I scored. So yeah, it was really exciting for me.
Yeah, and the Olympics are coming up. If I was a Football Ferns head coach, you'd be the first name on the team sheet. Tell us a bit about how the overall Olympic preparations are coming along.
Yeah, well, I guess this was like my first time back in the Ferns, so I kind of had missed a lot of the lead up, but everyone's like in their own environment right now, and I guess we find out the team kind of soon, so everyone's like working hard and hoping their name is on that list. But yeah, like I guess the decision is in the coach's hand right now, and all we can do is work hard to be ready if selected for the Olympics.
And what are the goals for the Olympics? Tell us a bit about the team that you'll put forward, and how far you want to go.
I think the goal is always to get out of the group, win games. I think if we have, like, if we're on the day, like, we can do anything. Like, we saw that in the Norway game. Like, we were all so switched on and, like, really bought into the fact that we had to win that game. So I think if we all bring that mindset, which I definitely think we can do, we can do well. Like, I think we even saw that in like the first half of the Japan game. Obviously, we didn't carry it out in the second half, but I think we have learned so much from that, and I think we've got the belief that we can put out results in this Olympics. So I think that's the goal. Trying to get wins and get out of the group would be the dream.
Yeah, and back to the Women's World Cup. How do you think that kind of affected the growth of football, and especially women's football in New Zealand?
Oh, I think it was huge. The amount more girls that are playing now, and like, I don't know, like, are fans of the game. Like, I've never really seen it like this before. I think even with the Phoenix girls, I have a lot of friends on the team, and they were like telling me like, oh, so many girls show up to the game, and I even saw that at Western Sydney in Australia. Like with signs, like people have like fan accounts now. Like, it's crazy, like how much exposure that World Cup gave to little girls. And I think we'll see the benefits of that in so many years to come. But yeah, I think it's super exciting, and it's really like opened a lot of people's eyes to women's football and how exciting it can be. So yeah, I think it's been huge for the country.
Yeah, I agree. It's a beautiful sight. Porirua Park, the Phoenix's new home ground, just seeing all the girls lined up by the fence, waiting for autographs and stuff. It gets you a bit emotional.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you come from a pretty sporting family. Your mum, Kylie, has represented New Zealand and captained them in hockey, and your uncle has also played for the All Whites. Tell us a bit about them.
Yeah, I love my mum and my dad. Like, they are honestly my biggest fans and biggest supporters. So they've been amazing. They have so many like valuable lessons and like insights that they always give me. And they've been like so supportive, like whether I'm having like a great great few weeks or a bad few weeks, they're always there and like supporting me and celebrating wins, but also being there for like the bad times. So yeah, they've been amazing. Like, I think their experience, especially like my mom, like being a high performance athlete has been amazing in helping me. And then my dad, he was also a good sportsman as well. So he spent hours with me when I was little, like in the backyard, like shooting goals with me and my brother. So yeah, I think they're a huge part of my success and hopefully more to come.
So did they have any kind of like influence or guidance for you growing up being a young sportswoman?
Yeah, but they were never kind of pushy. Like they were always like, do what you want. Like if you want to quit today, like we'll support that kind of thing. So obviously we were a huge sporting family, so that was never an option for me and my brothers. But yeah, they would support me no matter what I did. But yeah, I think they're amazing. Like obviously hockey's kind of similar to soccer in some ways. So like even if I ask for help and my mum can give it to me, like making runs and things like that. So yeah, they've been amazing.
And what would you say has been the biggest period of emotional growth so far in your life?
I would say this like injury that I just had, that was very hard. But yeah, I would say that's where I grew the most. Like I had to learn a lot. But I would say it's made me so much stronger, and I know that like you can get through anything kind of thing. So yeah, I would say that's where I learned the most and where I developed the most, off the field for sure. And it just made me so much more motivated to get back on the field. And I don't know, it made me realize like how much I do really love the game, because I've been kind of busy for the last like 2 years. So yeah, I guess having the time away really like helped with that. And yeah, I mean now I'm just loving it so much more and I'm so much more motivated. So yeah, I think that was a huge step for me, I guess.
Yeah. Are there any challenges, playing so far away from home?
Yeah, I would say it is challenging sometimes. Like obviously we are so far, it's not like my parents could just get on a flight to come see me or like my friends. But I think that comes with the job. Like that's just the life of a professional footballer, and I mean I get that, and I mean I love doing it. So I mean that's just kind of a small negative of a huge positive of living my dream. So I'm not too fussed about it, and I'll see them soon. So yeah, I think, and I can call them whenever I want. So it's not like it's a huge thing.
Yeah. And when you're not playing football, what are you doing?
I'm doing university right now through Massey on a Prime Minister's scholarship, which is amazing. I'm super thankful for doing that. But I'm studying business, so most of my time goes to that at the moment. But I'm just finishing my last assignment, so then I'll have a few weeks off, which will be nice. But other than that, I kind of like watch my favorite TV shows and things like that and hang out with some of the girls on the team. Yeah.
Cool. That sounds like fun. That sounds like,
Yeah.
yeah. Last night I watched the stupidest TV show ever, and sometimes doing that with friends is great.
100%.
Yeah, it's just a great way to relax. 2 more questions. You mentioned Marta, going out and seeing her play. I remember the first time I saw her play too. It was like, are there any other sort of football heroes that you have that kind of, get your heart racing, or you make you look a little harder?
I would say a lot. Like honestly, like if I ever see like a famous footballer, I'm always like fangirling. But I've always been a huge fan of Messi. I think, duh, like who isn't kind of thing.
Yep.
But in the women's game, I love Sam Kerr. I think she's insane. Lauren James, like lots of those kind of players. I'm just like, wow. Like, but yeah, playing against some of like those people, I'm like, it's just like insane to think about. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, we got some great ones in the NWSL. You have like crazy Jess Fishlock and just so many legends of the game who are playing right now. And so one last question, which is very impetus, like, what do you want people to know about female footballers?
I would say that they're human. Like, they have good days, they have bad days, but at the end of the day, like, they are doing their best. I mean, obviously, we kind of know that female football isn't where it, like, at the best place, and I think it's still growing. Like, I know some girls in the A-League still had to work, like, 2 jobs, so, like, I think as the game grows, I guess more expectations can come on the players, but, like, I would say just, like, give as much support to them as possible, because as the game grows, I guess that will help them a lot. But yeah, I would say just that people before the athletes, so just be kind and things like that. But yeah, they're trying their best.
I mean, I think that's a great message, be kind. People are human, they're not getting millions and millions of dollars. There's no, there's the benefit is they're doing what you're doing, what you love. You're getting some salary from it, and the playing in front of fans is pretty cool. So, keep that in mind with expectations. I think is a good message. Anything else, Alex? Yeah. Well, thank you, Milly, for your time. Really,
thank you so
much. Really appreciate your time. And thanks, everyone, to listening to the first season of the Impetus podcast, where we celebrate the pride, passion, and achievements of women in football. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, keep rocking it, Milly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
See ya.